could be. Either way, the garage door closed. We never locked it.
Whenever you're comfortable with it.
That might be it. That front door, yeah. Raise up on the handle, lock it, channel lock.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, JT said he wanted to hear what was said.
Yep, I'm ready to.
He said all the lies. He said they're all lies.
We can record it. You can request a copy of it. You show them
Where is Dodie?
You don't have to request it. You don't have to watch it.
I'm guessing she's at the yeah, that's true. That
It kicks up about sometimes one day, normally about 2 days after the meeting. Yeah, pick up, I get a notification. I've watched it. The audio is.
Yes, it's mostly working.
the mics up here and that improved.
Yeah, I since I watched the first one, I try to be more careful with doing anything like that. The first one, I mean, I was sitting here just fidgeting with something, you know, right here. And that's all you can hear. So I go, well, I probably need to not do that.
Oh, there we go. Big smile.
He's not watching the clock yet.
He isn't.
He was attached to Maddie at the end.
Harold, I don't know what you've done to Gabe. And every time I see him, all I can say is, boy, more and more I'm around Harold, I really like that guy. I really like that guy. And I say, well, I told you. So, I don't know.
Me myself.
Yeah. Well, it's working.
Yep.
I think you should be able to raise, as long as I move mine to the back, so fire truck, still be able to get through.
He can be hard to win over sometimes.
That's right.
I'm trying to obey the fire truck.
Yeah, he's
He's got a mind of his own.
he's pretty critical.
Yeah, he is.
All right, folks, we ready?
Lund,
Here.
Johnston,
Here.
Watts,
Here.
Allen, Jacobs.
Here.
Need a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Lund,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. Adoption of the agenda? Move to approve?
Lund,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. All right, we're gonna start tonight off with a presentation by Patrick Young and Amanda Bagwell of HDR Engineering Inc. on the results of the 2017 annual sewer rate review for the city of Warrensburg, Missouri.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, we can have back. We're going to give our presentation tonight.
All right. Thank you guys for having us tonight. All right. All right. So, all right. So tonight we'll start with a reminder of what we presented at last year's presentation on last year's review, and then give you the findings of this year's review. Last year we presented a 5-year rate schedule that ran from 2017 through fiscal year 2021 and included rate increases for each year. And last year the city implemented the proposed rate increase for 2017. For this year's rate review, we began with a comparison of what was in the original plan for projected revenues versus where are your collections actually at this year. It took a look at the monthly number of bills and what your average monthly consumption was. As you can see in the side-by-side comparison, while the monthly number of bills are up from the original plan, there's actually been a drop in average monthly consumption from 68,000 CCF to about 63,000. This is actually something that we've been seeing across the area as new developments are starting to implement water conservation features. So it's not unexpected to see a drop like this, but what it means is that, you know, our original plan assumed that there'd be a projected revenue of about 4.5 million, and you're collecting something above 4.1 million. So what we did is we went back to the 5-year plan, and we took all of those revenue projections and we redid them based on the lower consumption numbers and came up with the new projected revenues. The next piece we then did was we took a look at the expenditures. We began with the original 2017 plan, and we looked at what the amended budget was, and then we took a look and compared it to the 2018 proposed budget. What you can see is that the amended budget is slightly higher than the original plan budget, but we do see a drop when we go to the 2018 budget, and I believe this is due in part to staffing changes. So then again, we took the projected expenditures and we projected them from 2017 through 2021. And what this does is this gives us it in place where we have projected revenues and projected expenditures so that we can see if we're hitting our revenue requirement annually for each year. And for fiscal year 2017, it's projecting a little bit of a shortfall on that year, but there are cash reserves that we're going to be pulling from that. In addition, the plan has always included starting to fund reserve accounts for annual renewal of your assets, both collection system and wastewater. And so what we'd recommend is obviously that you fund those items last. But if you look, when we hit 2018, which is going to be the next fiscal year, we're starting to have a positive annual balance and continue that through 2021. So even though we did see some changes in the projected revenues and expenditures, we're still pretty on par with the original 5-year plan that we had. So we recommend that you continue on with that plan and you adopt the 2018 proposed rate increase. And in addition to that, you know, really continue to monitor what the average monthly consumption is to ensure that you're staying right around that 63,000 CCF consumption. And then just a reminder of what that Proposed 2018 recommended rate increase is it's increasing the volume charge for residential customers to $5.60 per CCF, and then the commercial to $4.88. So with that, if there are any questions.
The number of monthly bills, is that based on water meters or? Okay. Have we seen any meters that are strictly for irrigation that might be taking away from the sewer? I'm trying to account for this consumption and the number of bills being up and the consumption being down.
Part of the consumption number, we were trying to, we went through, we have Missouri American Water billing, we have contract billing. We really had a hard time getting an accurate handle on what was taking place on the consumption and the usage, because there's such a differential in what was getting billed, so to speak. So we had to go back quite a few years whenever we established this last year's consumption and try to estimate what our consumption is.
Okay.
We have a better handle on what our consumption is now, so it should be more truer to form than what we're looking at now. Also, we've increased our hired person and been working on our accounts and arrears, and that's really working to bring things together. We did have a wider margin than what we did now, but it's coming together better.
So your point, to closely monitor the consumption rates in the future would be important. Okay, thanks.
How could another reason that some of the readings and some of the information is off a little bit is this is really only our second year.
Yes.
We really only have 2 good years of information. After this year, we'll have close to 3 good years of information. Everything before that was basically trash because of the company that we were using for billing, and it's just a lot of bad information, a lot of bad billing. We had to write a lot of that off, as some of you might remember. So hopefully we're on the right track now. I think if we looking at it this year, if the rate increase on the variable doesn't do the trick, I think next year we might need to look at the fixed cost on it, but we'll continue to monitor that as well.
And I guess that would be my question. I mean, if you're seeing more and more efficiency with what's being put in with new construction and those types of things, you're going to see less and less usage. So if you keep adjusting the usage rate, you're still going to continue to have this problem bringing in the revenues, growing the revenues as fast as what you need for how fast expenditures are growing, versus the fixed rate, which is set, everyone pays as a base, is much more stable and much more sustainable. So, again, I guess I echo Matthew's concern is eventually at some point we have to look at increasing the fixed rate if we continue to see the increased efficiency when it comes to the volume usage, because you'll see that across the board. Even our industries are getting more and more aware of these issues and investing in improvements to decrease that, and they can be big revenue streams for the city as far as usage. So as they become more efficient, it all adds up, and so eventually we're going to have to rely more heavily on the fixed rate than we are on the usage rate.
Any other questions?
I guess I want to be careful that we don't say congratulations for being water conscious and conservative, but now we're going to raise your rates because you conserve too much water.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, there's a certain cost of us maintaining those treatment plants.
Yeah, there's a cost of service that's shared across all customers.
We run the wastewater plant at a zero profit.
Right.
It's strictly break even, and that's barely what we're doing right now. So.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Staff will start putting out, we have to advertise for public hearing, and that'll be scheduled for August 14th. recreation, so we'll be towards that engineering and at the other side.
Okay. All right, annual presentation by Parks and Recreation Board.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, it is that time for our annual report, and I am pleased to introduce Dr. Judy Vickery. She's our Park Board President, who will be giving that report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I am Judy Vickery, and it's my privilege to be the president of the Warrensburg Parks and Recreation Board. And I make this presentation in my role as president. I will make very brief comments, and then we'll respond to any questions that you have. We do, in fact, have a very broad mission to provide opportunities for all members of the Warrensburg community to pursue their leisure and recreational interest. 12 parks totaling 402 acres, which we maintain year-round. In addition, the community center houses recreational space, general meeting rooms, 2 indoor pools, as well as the senior center. The NASA Aquatic Center with 3 pools, using lots of water every year. During the past year, we offered 552 programs and events for all ages. The programs and facilities are the day-to-day responsibility of a staff of 10 full-time people. Current budget, $3.9 million with in revenue and $3.3 million of expenses. We have carefully over the years built a reserve fund to be able to fund the repair and replacement necessary in an aging facility. I'm going to talk about 2 very new and exciting additions to Parks and Recreation. The 2014 Master Plan identified trips and tours as a needed addition to our program offerings. And in May 2016, the initial trip was a culinary visit to Columbia, which was combined with a stop at Warm Springs Farm to see their business operation, and as a bonus saw 2 brand new baby Clydesdale horses. The trip was so popular, and we've had so many requests for it, that we will offer it again this fall. In addition to the culinary trip, we took groups to the Starlight Theater, to the Lyceum Theater, a Royals game, dinner theater at Sedalia Community College, toured Herman, Jeff City, St. Joe, as well as attended a production at Quality Hill Playhouse. This summer, we will take groups to see Mamma Mia, the $1 Million Quartet, as well as tour the Harry Truman Library. The fall, we will be back in Columbia, as well as to a Kansas City Mavericks hockey game and the spectacular Christmas matinee in Kansas City. The master plan identified, in addition, a need for an inclusive playground for children who could not access the playground equipment common to park playgrounds. In September 2015, Scott Holmberg from Johnson County Board of Services proposed to the Park Board that his organization would raise the needed funds if the Park Board would designate space in one of the parks to locate the equipment. Doty identified a grant opportunity with the Department of Conservation Land and Water Conservation Fund for a maximum of $150,000. She wrote the grant, and the Park Board pledged some of the matching funds required, and on November 1, 2016, we were notified of the maximum award of $150,000. To date, Johnson County Board of Services has raised $85,000 of the $170,000 that they pledged. They have formed a committee of parents, staff, and community leaders to help raise the remainder. As soon as funding is secured, a bid process will be started, and October 2018 is the required completion date. Obviously, we would like to see it done earlier. After I prepared these comments, We received notice that a grant that Doty wrote for $125,000 for the playground for all equipment has been funded from Game Time as a part of their Show Me Healthy Communities initiative. Now, all the details of how that grant and the first grant are going to mesh are in the works. We had already, as the park board, had hired a grant administrator with a knowledge of the process and experience with this type of construction, and it's beginning to look like a good hire. Besides the big things, the fitness center was voted the best of the burg in 2016, and we have just purchased new equipment on our replacement schedule to keep it at that level. This week, we received from U.S. Bank a check for $500 to go toward helping any youngsters in the community who would like to participate in a program but need funds. So that's there's something going on in Parks and Rec all the time, whether it's a mother-son Olympics or a father-daughter dance or breakfast with Santa or swim meets or sports or free lunches in the summer or camp or any of the other 552 programs. With that, I'll take your questions.
Sounds like everybody's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to the public hearings. All right. A public hearing on an ordinance established a general business district for property recently annexed into the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, located at 141 Northwest 21 Road on the southwest corner of the intersection of Hawthorne Boulevard and Business Highway 13 McGuire Street.
At the last city council meeting, the council had a hearing for annexing this same property. This is the property north of the Office Depot site and the old trailer park that used to be north of Office Depot. That property there, I believe there's a map in your packet as well. This is a request to zone that general business if later on the agenda it is successfully annexed into the city. And so we did publish notice of this hearing in the paper and post the property and mail the notices to people within 300 feet. I did have a comment received last Thursday from Marla Tobin at 13 Northeast 175 Road. She called for information about the request. She had seen the signs, and her statements are that she hates roundabouts and she wants a stoplight instead. Because a stoplight would create a traffic gap so that Quarry Branch and Burnwood residents can get turned onto Highway 13 and roundabouts don't create those traffic gaps, so it's harder for them to exit onto the highway. And then it's hard for tractor trailers, and there's enough issues with the Hawthorne area without making it more confusing. So those are her comments. Staff has recommended approval of the request to zone the property general business.
Did anybody sign up to speak? Nobody signed up. Okay. Let's see. Anybody ready?
Is it raining?
That's raining.
Oh, wow.
All right, then we will move to close the public hearing if nobody is signed up. Okay. All right, ordinances, second reading only. An ordinance annexing certain adjacent territories into the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, located at 141 Northwest 21 Road on the southwest corner of the intersection of Hawthorne Boulevard and Business Highway 13 McGuire Street.
Staff recommends approval. There were no written comments received during your 14-day comment period required by the state.
We need a motion.
Move to approve. Lund,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Allen. Jacobs.
Yes. Alright. Let's see. So, first and second readings. An ordinance establishing a general business district for property recently annexed into the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, located at 141 Northwest 21 Road on the southwest corner of the intersection of Hawthorne Boulevard and Business Highway 13 McGuire Street.
The only thing I forgot to mention a few seconds ago was that Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of the zoning as well.
I move said bill be passed second reading by title.
Lund,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
This is an ordinance establishing a GB General Business District for property recently annexed into the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, located at 141 Northwest 21 Road on the southwest corner of the intersection of Hawthorne Boulevard and Business Highway 13 McGuire Street. This is for adoption or rejection. Lund,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Jacob.
Yes. An ordinance approving a mutual aid contract between the United States Air Force and the Warrensburg Fire Department for mutual aid assistance with Whiteman Air Force Base.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is a periodic agreement that we have, the federal government requires us them to keep updated. This is just every couple of years we do this with them, and it takes them usually 6 or 8 months past the expiration date to get it done.
How many mutual aid calls have you actually responded
About
to?
once every 3 years, we go there, they come in.
Okay.
It's not very often that we do, but when we do, they both work pretty hard at it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Move said bill be passed second reading by title.
Lund,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
This is an ordinance approving a mutual aid contract between the United States Air Force and the Warrensburg Fire Department for mutual aid assistance with Whiteman Air Force Base. This is for adoption or rejection. Lund,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. All right. City manager report and other matters. City manager.
One thing I have to report is early last week I was in Washington, D.C. As a board member of the Whiteman Area Leadership Council. I was there as a representative for them attending the American Defensive Communities Summit. And while there, I had an opportunity to interact with many defensive communities across the country, as well as hear from significant leaders in all 4 categories of the armed forces. Obviously, there's a lot of talk right now about the potential for a base realignment and closure process in Iraq, which hasn't happened since 2005. I guess just to keep it simple, in order for the military to do any type of efficiency measures or look at relocating services or any of those types of things, missions, they have to go through a BRAC process in order to do that. And so they are looking to do that. In a BRAC process, the community has an opportunity to lose or gain anywhere from worst case scenario of having a military installation completely closed and no longer operational to up to having other missions consolidated to your base, therefore adding new missions and new personnel and new Department of Defense spending to your community. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in Washington, D.C. There's a pretty major legal or political process that has to go through, and there's plenty of opportunities for exit out of the process. But it does look like indications show that there's a lot of synergy around this right now. So it could happen, or it could easily fall apart. But regardless, Warrensburg and the surrounding region should probably participate in a SWOT analysis as far as the strengths and weaknesses of our base. and also our community partnerships with them. There's a lot of emphasis, especially from the military leaders, regarding the need for continual partnerships to help them run more efficiently, and the communities that can do that better likely will fare better through any BRAC process. So we need to continue to try and seek for opportunities to partner with our military base in ways that we can jointly create efficiencies that benefit both of us moving forward. Some of the key areas that they also expressed some concern on, they're like any other major employer, they're trying to keep their employees happy. And some of the things that they're definitely hearing from their employees that they need improvement upon is quality of schools for their children. And what's actually come up here recently in the last couple of years is a better employment opportunity for spouses, military spouses. And then a close third place in that is better quality affordable housing. So those are all three areas that, and I'm not saying that we have bad schools in Warrensburg or surrounding area, but there's always more room for improvement, and it's something that we should always consider as a factor within our community is how we can better serve those military dependent children within our school systems and provide the best quality education, not only for our own children, but for them also. And continue to find partnerships and ways to do that. And then continue to workplace opportunities. That's what projects like ours do and the others that are so important to our community. And then we need to address housing on multiple fronts. But anyway, those are some of the key findings that I came back with. It was interesting earlier we heard from in the work session from Pioneer Regional Trail, they're kind of the protectors of the encroachment upon the base, and we definitely need to keep an eye on that. That is a major issue for these bases. And we need to continue to do whatever we can to help protect encroachment on our base, because that can really come back to hurt us if we don't. So anyway, in a nutshell, that's a synopsis of 2.5 days of sitting in meetings listening there in about 5 minutes.
I don't think the issues have changed any. What do you think?
No.
That sounds from there when I was in, so.
They do.
Yep. All right. Finance report?
Well, this week we selected the winners of our budget cover photo contest. And the first place winner was Sherelle Middleton. Second place is Gigi McCullough. And third place is Hannah Pilgrim. I'm sorry, I meant to include those pictures in there as well, but I'll get them to you guys. You can see them. We got, I want to say about 20 or so pictures. We got a lot of them for one person though, and the limit was one per person. So, but we're still going to use the pictures on the website. So next year we'll probably open it up to where you can at least put 3 in from one person. So it was a good contest. Better than last year.
Yes.
For sure. Revenue's down again this month. We're on par. We're on par with 2014 numbers right now, which was before the big jump. So still continue to monitor that and see what that is. I've had a couple calls into the state auditor, so we'll continue to monitor and try to put our finger on why those revenues were down.
You're still asking those questions of the state people.
I think I'm asking somewhat of the right questions. I'm starting to get some calls back.
Good.
Had some communication with the county as well.
So.
We are making progress, and we'll be posting the planner position here in the next, hopefully make some progress on that week, so it's posted by the beginning of July. Staff's been pretty busy, along with fire department staff. The end of this week is the end of the license renewal period, so a lot of business license, liquor license inspections lately have been keeping Justin and Brett busy. And we made great headway on one of our projects today. We took delivery of our new color plotter scanner, and it is quite a piece of equipment. So we will have a demonstration of what it can do for you sometime. It took them about 4 hours to set it up.
Wow.
So we appreciate your letting us purchase that. That's all I have.
I'd like to, I know I had it in the city manager's report, but also remind council, starting July 5th, our Palmer Overcoat project starts here in town, which run for about a week. We followed up with a seal coating of the streets that we did the polymer work on last year. That should take a week. And then the week of the 17th, the asphalt overlay will begin here in town. So we've got some traffic flows coming for the public here when we do this work, but then we've got a pretty steady stream of work for staff to keep up with for the rest of the month, so to speak. So appreciate the public's support whenever we do these projects, and weather permitting, everything will work out on schedule, which is not nearly the norm. But, hopefully we'll have all of our work done before the 1st of August, or before the students start getting back in their housing.
Remind us again on the schedule for the traffic signal upgrade engineering and the piece of Veterans Road extension.
Well, right now we're working with HDR on the engineering of the traffic signal, and that project is and engineering is combined with the roundabout and the whole thing.
Okay.
So we're working on the engineering side of that. Once we've got that completed, then we can go into bid with that. So it's just a matter of getting all the pieces put in place. Along with that, we are applying for a cost share grant with MoDOT. So it's kind of neat to see how that plays out toward the end of August, before we can really know if we're going to be able to, how we want to bid the project. Cost share, with that, we have to jump through a few different hoops in order to make that work. The Veterans Road Phase 2 piece out at the Dollar Tree, right now, we're still working with the engineers, with Dollar Tree, and our engineers are working together to get the elevations and how the building is actually going to sit on the site, so that we can service that with the new roadway and the sewer. So they're working hand in hand.
Okay.
So we're trying to, we still know we have a schedule, but it seems that it's slowed a little bit with the engineering side of it, so we can get that figured out.
Okay, but they are working with them because they're in the process of moving dirt.
Right.
You know, our guys are.
They have a base elevation. It's just how the building's going to be positioned on the lot, which, you know, desirable to know that we can put a roadway in at an elevation that work for them to set their roadway to access that. And also sewer elevations, know which end of the building they would need to be on. The Phase 1 section of Veterans Road, we're finalizing some engineering work on that. Should be able to bid that in the fall. So we're moving along with that. We will be coming to council with some adoption of right of way and those easements in there. We had agreement with the owners that once the money was allocated toward the project, then that would all come together.
Okay.
Ideally with that, we'd like to not start any earth moving until after they get the crops off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be good on our part.
Gary?
We've completed the Citrix upgrade project. That's all upgraded to the latest long-term stable release. We're slowly getting users transferred off of the old system onto the new. We're kind of focusing in public works right now, and we're probably about 90% Noah Street, West Plant. So we just had a couple other users we moved over on that, but that was a big leap forward for the city. We're also working on our other big project for this year is getting the RFP out for the network switch and wireless upgrades. So the city will actually have some locations where we'll have Wi-Fi where you can actually log on to the city network for some of the conference rooms, and PD vehicles outside can get onto the network and things like that. So we'll finally have some Wi-Fi here.
Nothing? All right.
Just a reminder about the professional headshots. If you did not get by on Friday, then tomorrow is the makeup day between 10:30 and 1:30 over at the PD training room. And along the lines of these are going to be photos for the website. And we did a lot of training. Staff spent 3 days in and out of training with Civic Plus. So we are definitely on schedule for our July 7th. We'll give you more information. I haven't really done the planning for how we want to do the official announcement about the website. But other than that, everything.
Ready?
Well, we held our parent and coaches meeting tonight for baseball and softball. We had a pretty good turnout. We received great comments and feedback in regards to the program. People appreciated that we were holding this meeting. We plan to do an electronic survey for our baseball softball program as well. And we plan to hold these meetings with every one of our sports programs so that we can get the feedback from the community and from those that are participating in it, and really focus on the kids and what's working for them and what's not. And with that, what we plan to do, the Recreation Committee plans to put together a guideline, you might say, for us to go by for all of our sports programs. And so I think that this is going to be a great addition. It's something that is new, and it went well tonight. So I'm very pleased. I also want to give you an update to a repair that we have coming up. I'll do a staff report on that once I get more details and direction. But Friday, our Parks Operations Superintendent, myself, met with Harold, and fortunately, Bob was there as well. And so we got to discuss, we have one HVAC system that is newer than the rest, and not one of them that we were going to replace. All the 6 compressors shut down, and so we've been working on that. We've got to get it repaired, and so I'll take it to the park board. We'll discuss it. But fortunately, it is in our budget, in our maintenance budget, to make those repairs. July 4th, we have all kinds of events, lots of sponsorships, lots of partnerships. In order to provide that, we start out with a 5K, we do a parade with Main Street and the fire department, and then we do a free half-price swim in the middle of the day, and we end up at Grover Baptist Church for the fireworks. So it's a great day, July the 4th. It's always on the 4th, and so if you're available, come visit and see us. We've got something for everyone. Thank you.
How many people attended the meeting? I
didn't get a count. I left before it was over so I could be here. But I would say we have probably had around 25. I might be wrong on that, but I didn't get an official count.
Nothing extra.
It's raining. It's raining.
It'll be raining a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
We have Wednesday morning, the Wall That Heals will be escorted from Lee Summit to UCM campus. The route they're going to take, Jackson County Sheriff's Department's motorcycle squad is going to escort it from Lee Summit all the way here. They'll be going down 50 Highway, getting off on McGuire, going south on McGuire to Clark Street. Warrensburg PD and Sheriff's Office are going to help with some of the streets as they go through there, closing them off as the wall goes through. The American Legion riders are going to escort it as well. And when I talked with Amber Clifford, who's organizing it for the university, They didn't have a count on how many motorcycles, but this thing comes here so rarely. She said that we may have as many as 400 motorcycles escorting this thing. So if you hear roaring thunder on Wednesday morning, it's not the weather. So, but it's quite a sight to see the escort part of it. So there may be some traffic issues coming through town Wednesday morning, just going down the wire as we help get all those vehicles through there and onto the campus of UCM.
I had the opportunity to meet with the Amateur Radio Club on Saturday, and I'd like to publicly acknowledge the work that they do. Hopefully they never have to act on our behalf, but they're certainly prepared to do so. And I'd like to publicly acknowledge the support that they provide the community. That's it.
You got anything, Cindy? Nothing? All right.
So happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And I got a card. I want to thank everybody that signed that. So, so other than that, I've got nothing. So, did you have something you wanted to? I guess we're on that. I guess we're on that appearances to the council not listed on the agenda. So that would be you.
Hey, I can't miss the opportunity to thank Warrensburg, larger Johnson County community, and I'm going to get misty-eyed. You know, I never wanted my little sister to feel different, and she was. But wow, to a year ago to be told that this can't happen, and me to stand and say that we're going to make it happen. Thank you. Thank everybody here. Some of you play a role in it. You. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's all. Just thanks for the part. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a reason to go into closed session? All right, then I would say we are adjourned and done for the day.
The roll call there is 30.